All right, here we go. It is Tuesday, August 26th, cut down day in the NFL, a huge day for, some guys who are trying so hard to reach their lifetime dream and will have that dream dashed. Some of them will get more bites at that apple. Some of them today will have the final bite at that apple. It's a tough one out there. Street life is rough for NFL players when they don't make the roster, when they don't stick around for practice squads. Little empathy, little sympathy for some of these guys. They aren't just heads of cattle being purchased for beef. So it's a tough day out there, for sure, for these pros. And I think we need to acknowledge that. We also need to acknowledge my man Ike has got a delicious sandwich waiting for you today. As always, we thank our sponsors. We thank those who make it happen around here. And Ike's of Ike Sandwiches makes things happen around here. No roster cuts from Ike's menu. All of them have made the menu, and they should. Delicious sandwiches, more options than you could even shake a stick at. I mean, Ike's is something for you that you haven't even thought you wanted on a sandwich. Check it out. I hope you live in a delivery distance. I hope you live around in Ike's. I hope an Ike's is coming to a town near you soon as it expands the greatest sandwich empire time has ever known. Cheers to Ike's. And oh, by the way, check out that friendly mug right there. Look at that mug. How about that? Normally we got the tumbler in here. Today we got the mug. If you want one of these, merch is available right now. Just click on the link below the video. It's somewhere around there. We got merch. And speaking of drinking, whether it be coffee or a Guinness, head to the Dubliner West portal. A little sip of the day right there. Our good friends at the Dubliner West portal, Kenny and John, are just ready to say hello. Come on in. Watch some Giants Cubs. Watch some Giants Orioles. Watch some coming football to a TV near you soon. I just saw that Fox might be pulling out of YouTube, or there's a little carrier dispute right there. Of course, I've just signed up for YouTube TV. So if you see me at the Dubliner Week 1 against Seattle, know that this YouTube TV bet that I've made has not gone very well. We'll get more into that a little bit later. But again, thanks to you. Thanks to the sponsors. Thanks for being here. Thanks to all the good people involved in today's show. Oh, yes, we will get to a whole bunch of things right here. Damon, do you have 4 stickers on your football helmet? Yeah, I do. We got stickers back here. Scott, thanks for asking. For every 10K, we get a helmet sticker. Oh, no, I need another one now. I need another helmet sticker. I'm at 3 right now. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Here's another 10K sticker right there. I'm going to need to order more. Let's slap that bad boy on. Let's get current, shall we? Helmet sticker. Boom. Buckeye. There we go. Going up the helmet. Whoever put that first one on should have put it a little bit more closer to the stripe, but well, it wasn't me. That came from the factory. Anyway. There we go. We get the first of 17 53-man rosters. The NFL is great at marketing itself, better than any other league. The NFL knows how to make important dates out of things that really were never that important to us. The NFL understands the pageantry, and the attention is something else to sell about itself. And, look at the fact that we are all hitting refresh on our computer all day today to look at roster cuts. Who didn't make it, who did make it, who's available, who fell off another team's roster that you might be interested in. The NFL is great at this, at taking a day of essentially it's just names on a sheet of paper and turning it into a media event. They did it with the draft. They've done it with cutdown day. And we zoom in for that first 53-man roster as if that thing gets set in stone and doesn't change. Every single team basically has a different 53-man game day roster every single week with the injuries that you get in this league. But oh my God, we sharpen our knives just getting ready for that first 53-man roster. Oh, it's the biggest thing in the world. Look, it is important. We know that. It is important. But to say it is a fluid situation would be a massive undersell of what is really going on here. As we're looking at the 49ers' first rosters, we do have a surprising cut, I think, officially to discuss here in Dallas Flowers. Dallas Flowers had been starting games this preseason for Renardo Green and had played pretty well. Dallas Flowers had also really accounted for himself really well throughout training camp and in practice. There was always a day where you're circling Dallas Flowers' name on your roster, going like, man, this guy is just doing everything possible to make this team, while Dallas Flowers has not made this team. According to Matt Barrows, he is getting cut. That, in turn, has to be great news for Darrell Luter Jr., who, to me, if it were up to one or the other, I thought Dallas Flowers was going to be on this roster before Luter Jr. Absolutely going to be a practice squad candidate. You'd think they'd like to keep Dallas Flowers around, but I'll tell you, he had the kind of preseason that might make other teams interested in him. Jeff Wilson Jr. is also being released today. Practice squad will hope that he's around. I'm sure they'd like to keep him around in some capacity. Jeff Wilson Jr., has ball ready to carry. When the Niners need him, he'll show up and I think answer that bell should they need him. I think they're going to keep him around on the practice squad. And then a prime practice squad candidate is also Tariq Owens, who has been released. No surprises there at all. Look, he's a project. He's raw as hell. He came to football late in his athletic life, and he's T.O.'s kid. So he will get, more of an opportunity to prove himself than maybe the next guy will. That's what happens when your dad is an iconic franchise Hall of Famer. So, it's good to be related to the right people. I don't hold it against anybody. I'll tell you this, though, when it comes to athletes, who your daddy was might get you more of an opportunity in the door, but unless you are good, you won't be allowed to stay around for long. I think Tariq Owens might be a good player one day, but right now, polished and ready to go, still not there, still a raw guy. So that's what we know about him. Let's see. Let me open up. I got a few roster trackers going up here. There are new names being added the minute anybody gets new news about who's in, who's on, who's out, released or waived so far today. Again, Dallas Flowers, Tariq Owens, and Jeff Wilson Jr. Released today as well. We knew about these. We knew about Tanner Mordecai, Keyshawn Vaughn, Shaquille Brown, Carter Bradley, Jalen Allen. They didn't make it. No real surprises here beyond Dallas Flowers, but we don't have them all yet. We know that. So let's just, kind of wait and see. By the way, speaking of the kind of wait and see type of news that you don't really need today, the 49ers legitimately have a complaint about what's going on with the NFL. The NFL's got to be driving the Niners a little bit nuts right now because Kyle Shanahan clearly got turned around by some NFL news. Matt Mayoko is reporting today, just this hour, about 25 minutes ago, that the NFL has yet to officially announce a suspension for Demarcus Robinson. Okay, well, rosters need to be finalized in about an hour and 40 minutes. So can we get some conclusion? If the suspension isn't made official by 1 o'clock Pacific, well, then guess who's not suspended for week one? And Demarcus Robinson is now one of the wide receivers that you're carrying on the roster, which makes roster decisions today a little bit more precarious. What is going on here? Kyle, I thought, said that it was official. Just last week in a press conference, he was talking about how Demarcus Robinson would make his debut in in regular season game number 4 against Jacksonville. This is what Kyle thought, but I guess the actual NFL paperwork that triggers the actual suspension has yet to be filed by the NFL. What are you dragging your feet on, boys? Send that over. You don't even have to fax it. You can email that shit, I'm guessing. Anyways, just another headache for the 49ers at the position of wide receiver, with, of course, at all times, Jauan Jennings being the biggest headache. Jauan Jennings really has become the LeBron James of Jonathan Kumingas for the San Francisco 49ers. Between Jauan Jennings and Jonathan Kuminga, like I've had it with these guys. I've had it with these situations. These two dudes are driving the Bay Area nuts. Whether their teams deserve it or not is another debate, and I'm open to having it entirely. But, I mean, these guys, like, figure it out, fellas. Do you want to go to war, or do you want to play your sport? Do you want to get into a pissing contest that could erode your bank account this year and damage your reputation going forward? Or do you want to bet on yourself and play great ball and make an awful lot of money next year? Like, people need to choose some freaking directions. I didn't want to invoke Jonathan Kuminga on this show, but here we are. He really is. He's like the Jauan Jennings the LeBron James of Jonathan Kuminga's, or is Jonathan Kuminga the LeBron James of Jauan Jennings is? I don't even know anymore. It's driving me nuts. The NFL, you're driving me nuts. The 49ers about DeMarcus Robinson and not officially having the paperwork in on his suspension, that's got to drive them nuts. There are major decisions to be made. We got time ticking. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, Otis. Good to see you. Bucko Sports says, wide receiver 3 bullying the 49ers front office is pathetic. Howdy, Carl. Great to see you back, buddy. Carl got rear-ended. He was a little concussed. Carl's gone through like the Troy Aikman concussion program, where I don't know how many of these things have actually been undiagnosed. Carl, I'm glad you're feeling better, brother. If you need anything, bowl of soup, sandwich, call Uncle Damon. I'll bring it to you. It's the appeal process they are waiting to get finalized. Did they appeal? Have they appealed? By 1 o'clock today, we will have our full list. Indeed, we will. By 1 o'clock today, we will have our full list. Let's see what it looks like. But again, news trickling out all morning long. We're trying to keep up with it. But remember, after the Seattle game, we will get another 53-man roster. And then after that, you get 17 53-man rosters. But boy, do we stick around for that first one like it is the end-all, be-all of all NFL news. Kenny, good to see you around here today. Thank you so much. Great to see you. There you go. The LeBron James of Jonathan Kuminga's. Seriously. It's nuts, isn't it? It's a little nuts. Postman is here. Oy, oy, oy. Always good to have you, Postman. Sam Bruno. Mike is here. Otis is here. Great to have you. Thank you all for coming on by. And remember, if you have not, please hit like and subscribe. We are honored every single time we get a new like, a new subscribe. Somebody out there who was not aware of this channel was made aware of it this week. They've watched a couple shows. They're like, all right, we're in. Thank you so very, very much. Really, really appreciate it. We're working our way to 50,000 by the bye week. That's an aggressive growth we're looking for. Hopefully you plan on helping me with our aggressive expansion. Speaking of aggressive, you know what I really liked was what I saw from the Brian Robinson, hey, how are you? I'm a Niner Now press conference that came from Santa Clara yesterday. Brian Robinson, who, by the way, looks like he has got his skin painted on him. He is in incredible shape, said that he is ready to be part of the best running back tandem in the NFL. Again, everything he went up there and said, he did it the right way. You know, he's like, hey, man, I've been carrying footballs my entire life. I'm a plug-and-play player. You put me in any offense, you hand me a football, I'll find a hole, I'll run. I like it. An awful lot. Everything he said about, he's very respectful of Christian McCaffrey, but also said, hey, man, I'm kind of here to take his cake. He's like, I'm going to be a compliment to Christian McCaffrey, but I'm not taking a back seat to anybody. I think I can get shit done at a high level. Hand me the football. I'll run it for you. That's the right attitude to have. That is the right attitude to have, Brian Robinson. Very much. I believe you. If Christian McCaffrey stays healthy and you, kid, really start popping in this offense too, the 49ers could have a very dangerous running back tandem. Best in the NFL. We'll hold off that evaluation till at least week 8. Okay, well, let's get into the season before we start talking about who's the best around. But I like it. I really do. I like the way Brian Robinson carried himself at that podium yesterday. I thought it was good. Thought it was real good. My man Joe, thank you, Joe. That Kuminga line had me spitting the coffee out. Well, hopefully it's not Phil's. You don't want to waste that coffee, but appreciate it, Joe. Thank you very much for being the first into the ganja jar today. I do appreciate it. Appreciate it. Oh, boy. Let me get another sip of coffee over here. How's the Niners roster tracker going? Again, if you see anything from Mayoko, if you see anything from Barrows, you want to share it in the chat, let me know. Now, Broken Metronome says, you're forgetting that CMC will be running to the ground and Shanahan will act like we only have one running back. I'm very aware of that. What I hope is that Kyle is going to do something other than what he's done with Christian McCaffrey. I think that them trading for Brian Robinson is an admission. I need to have more than one running back. And look, they've still got Isaac Guerrero. They still got a rookie that they're interested in. So I think we're going to see a very good running back room, and hopefully, really hopefully, is that Kyle has found religion on not running Christian McCaffrey into the ground. Every single Christian McCaffrey carry this year should come in a game that's yet to be decided. Every single low leverage carrying situation should go to a back other than Christian McCaffrey. If Kyle Shanahan has designed an offense that only works well with Christian McCaffrey in it, well, there's the fatal flaw of everything you're doing right there. So that better not be the case. I like Brian Robinson. I really like Christian McCaffrey. If one helps the other stay healthier, the two of these guys really could be a hell of a running back tandem. I mean, the concept of a bell cow back, it's dying in football. And when you look at them just adding games and more plays and offenses being run faster, these guys are just getting their tread run off of them quickly. The day of the bell cow back, one guy getting the majority of carries, they're very few and far between, and probably rightfully so, given the nature of this sport. Joe Sullivan just coming back in right now saying, back-to-back ganja jar champ. Felt like Kyle learned his lesson. At least I hope. I hope so too. I really hope so too. Again, I don't think Bill Shanahan makes the trade for Brian Robinson only to give Brian Robinson last year's Isaac Guerrero treatment. There's no way. There's no way. And this is a good point. Absolutely a good point from Joe Schmo saying CMC wants to run as much as he can. Right. But he's not the coach. And when it's time to come out of a game, you have your player come out of the game. And if you decide that you don't need your player back in the game, you don't let him back in the game. And if he jogs out there, you call a timeout and say, what are you doing making me burn a timeout to ask you to just obey the most day one basic coaching rules? You play when I say so. You don't want to anger Christian McCaffrey, but it's not like you're denying him anything. You're not denying him clauses in his contract or bonus incentives or anything. Like, dude, you got paid through the nose. You got paid through the nose after a season lost to bilateral Achilles tendonitis, like shit we never even heard of. Like, Christian McCaffrey isn't in position to call it his way, the way he sees fit anymore. He just isn't. Now, as we're constantly taking a look at players falling off of other rosters, who might be in the mix, who might be a target for the 49ers. Well, Tej Beats says, Damon, do you think the 49ers should make a trade for Jacoby Myers? Again, Myers is looking for that $20-25 million a year price point that I think the 49ers are going to be very reluctant to give another wide receiver. There is a correlation between bad teams overpaying receivers who don't reach the playoffs and teams who don't make that bad investment who do. So I like Myers. He's a good young player. The Raiders are figuring. Look, the Raiders can't trade WR1 2 years in a row like they just did that with Devontae. They're not going to trade Jacoby Myers. He'll be back. The Raiders are going to get that taken care of. However, somewhere, our friend Larry Krueger is preparing to do a 6 to 8 hour live stream on the Jets releasing Malachi Corley. Now, Malachi Corley is an interesting football player who we were really interested in pre-draft. We talked about Malachi Corley being drafted by the 49ers quite a bit. We talked an awful lot about him. He's an interesting guy, kind of like a gadget guy, a could do everything type of guy. He was drafted 3rd round by the Jets with Robert Saleh's hand in that. You know, I don't hold underperformance in a New York Jets uniform against anybody because it's kind of par for the course. I would absolutely take a little look at Malachi Corley if he's just out there and needs to clear waivers. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing, if they're just going to straight up release him, that means you don't even have to clear waivers. Did they put him on waivers or did they release him? I still don't got the details on that, but that is a name that maybe, especially with the Shanahan connection, or excuse me, the Robert Saleh connection, that could be in play. And again, that's in play at a price point the 49ers would be comfortable approaching. Jacoby Myers is not at that price point. CMC knows his body, even he knows when it needs help, especially in the running backs around him dropping like flies. Vince, go Sparty. Vince, thank you. Look, I hope you're right. But, you know, when adrenaline kicks in and the pressure of a football game is being released around you in real time, erring on the side of caution is something that players don't do. The player's always going to want to play. It's the coach's job to keep the player out of the game in low leverage situations. And I hope that is the theme of the year. The theme of the year. Irwin saying, just saw Amari Cooper sign with the Raiders. The Niners had their chance at Cooper and Allen and just decided to pass. Now, look, Amari Cooper said he was retiring. That did not last very long. But yeah, I hear you, man. There is, without a doubt, a whole bunch of wide receiver options out there that the Niners either got aggressive on. I think they tried hard to trade for John Mechie. They didn't get that done. Obviously, Amari Cooper, if they were negotiating with him, he's not a Niner. I don't know if they were ever really interested in Keenan Allen. I certainly was. All I can tell you is good luck, San Francisco 49ers, in your wide receiver room. Because there's been a billion different screaming, why not try this out there, that they didn't try. They slow played this Jauan Jennings situation to the point where it could haunt them. It's just a weird way of going about doing business, man. It really, really is. So, I saw this today. You know the NFL is officially right around the corner when you start seeing prop bets on first to be fired. We have an official new reigning first to be fired odds leader coming out of Las Vegas. It is no longer Brian Daboll of the New York Giants, who wore the crown of best odds first to be fired all last year, I believe. Brian Daboll made it. Shane Steichen was on that list for a little bit. He's still there. He's getting the third best odds at 7-1. Dable is 4-1. Dave Canales of Carolina is 15-2. He's got an impatient owner. That maybe isn't a bad bet. Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland, he's also at 15-2. Jonathan Gannon in Arizona is 8-1. You'd be throwing your money away on that bet. Jonathan Gannon's building something down in Arizona. They're not about to fire him. Zach Taylor, 9-1 in Cincinnati. Maybe. They're not going to get rid of Brian Callahan down in Tennessee going off at 18-1. No way. Raheem Morris is going to get more than this year in Atlanta at 18-1. I don't like that bet at all. But look at the new number one. Used to be the wonder boy around here, right? Used to be the quirky dude who every now and then was allowed to go to the podium. He'd say something goofy. He looked kind of nerdy. And when he got hired by the Miami Dolphins, oh man, Kyle Shanahan just lost his right-hand man. The guy with really all the clever plays, he ain't around here no more. What are you going to do without Mike McDaniel? Well, what are the Dolphins going to do with Mike McDaniel? The answer, according to Las Vegas, is fire him before any other coach in football. He is at 2-1. To be fired first. And all I can tell you is I follow a local writer in Miami. His name is Omar Kelly. And I've been following Omar Kelly for years. Omar Kelly is as good of an NFL local beat writer as you could follow anywhere. And because I followed this guy, I know more about the Miami Dolphins than I ever wanted to. I know an awful lot about the Miami Dolphins through Omar Kelly's Twitter account. He's great. And I mean, he's got nothing nice to say. And just, every article when it comes to bringing up Mike McDaniel is about how this honeymoon is over. So Mike McDaniel might be the first to be fired. And then just like Robert Saleh, maybe he'll come on back to the ranch looking like a Coke dealer wearing, tinted sunglasses and off-white Yeezy ones or whatever I'm not even kidding. They get pissed about Mike McDaniel wearing like culottes and shorts or culottes and sneakers. Like Mike McDaniel's I dress a little goofy, I'm a sneaker guy thing, which worked so well in the beginning of his tenure in Miami for him. It's all working against him now. Like they're just over him. So Joe says Dolphins are going to fire McDaniel, then hire Saleh. No. That can't be a freaking revolving door. No. You can't out with one, in with the next. The 49ers not going to let that happen. And this is probably where it is, Rob. He's good at designing and running plays. That doesn't make you a good head coach. Maybe he is indeed topping out at coordinator, not a head coach guy. He never really gave head coach vibes. He's just a little bit too much of a, he doesn't command the room. You know what I mean? It's a weird dude. 49ers have waived Stone Blanton. Not surprised to see that at all. He didn't make my 53-man roster. So bonsoir, Stone Blanton. Absolutely could be a practice squad candidate. We'll see what happens. Stone Blanton seems like the kind of guy who could get through waivers. So we're getting Mike back next season, huh? Nice. Corporal Tez. I don't know if it's that easy. I don't know if the 49ers want to turn themselves into a wayward home for former coaches who've been fired. But if he were the right fit and if Shanahan would think, yeah, this would make me better, then yes, do it. There is no salary cap on a coaching staff. There is no, you can't hire that guy. You can't have more than one guy filling a job or role. There are no who's on your coaching staff rules to follow. So it always comes down to, is it best for the team? Does Kyle think it would help? And if the answer is yes, hey, you know what, Kubiak, don't worry about it. Mike McDaniel's back in the room. You guys work together. Everybody have fun. Everybody's been humbled. Everybody just want to get back to winning football games. Let's fucking go. That's the way I would look at it. I would surround myself with guys that I thought were value adds all the time. All the time. Again, will they be surrounding themselves with Malachi Corley? Something to watch over the next 48 hours, 24 hours or so. A few days away, we're going to be in our first week of college football. The weekend after that, we're officially in our first weekend of NFL football. This is nature healing. This is the world getting right again. Oh, I cannot wait. Cannot wait. There's so much excitement for the upcoming NFL and college football season that to me, you don't need to be manufacturing shit to draw attention. And that's why I want to bring up something that I think is the least genuine thing that is happening around football right now and the most genuine thing that'll be happening around football this upcoming weekend. The least genuine thing seems to be this ban on David Portnoy from coming into Ohio Stadium. Portnoy, of course, your leader of all things Barstool Sports, the president, and owner once again, has signed a big deal with Fox. And look, I think Portnoy's an entertaining guy. He's not my cup of tea on all topics, but college football, he's great at going up there, playing the villain, the troll, kind of like he's good at what he does. And he cares an awful lot about the sport. And he wears his Michigan colors right there on his sleeve. But he gets excited for other programs. I'll tell you, Portnoy was very pro Indiana rising from the dead to matter in a college football season. I think was part of the reason why the focus on Indiana came. They had Barstool's pregame show the same weekend as game day finally came to Bloomington. That was an exciting time. There's a lot of people who want to hate Dave Portnoy. I'm not one of them. I'm not. I look at what he's done. It's been impressive. Are there moments of arrogance and douchebaggery from the guy that I'd just be like, why even bother? Anyway, apparently Fox, who's got Portnoy now on their big noon broadcast, wanted to promote that by letting everyone know that Portnoy will not be allowed inside the stadium because he's been suspended from attending games at Ohio Stadium by the Buckeyes. This apparently is news to the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Ohio State Athletic Department, who issued a press release saying that we have not banned Dave Portnoy from coming into the stadium, but Fox is insisting that it has. Fox is looking to get as many eyeballs on that big pregame ahead of number 1 Texas at number 2 Ohio State, the first 1-2 to open an NFL college football season ever. They want as much attention on that as possible, so they thought a little Portnoy's band sprinkling would help gin up the outrage machine that Barstool is so great at lubricating and running. Oh, the angry boys, the stoolies. Rah! Apparently, this is as genuine as the NBC milkmen when Melky Cabrera was out here. Like, oh, look at these fans dressing up as milkmen coming to these Giants games. Bullshit. They were network plants. They weren't 4 buddies doing it. They were paid for actor. They were paid for play hires. It went from being really cool to that's lame as fuck. The Dave Portnoy is banned from Ohio Stadium for a minute there. Went from, if true, that's funny and cool. And screw you, Michigan. That's the rivalry. That's great. But for it to be made up is just so lame. And maybe it's desperate because the yin to the yang that's happening on the other network is something that Fox is really worried about, because as much as the Portnoy Ohio Stadium Fox banned from it all thing might be disingenuous, meanwhile, the single most genuine guy, Lee Corso, is going to be doing his last ever game day and the big salute goodbye and the we love you, Corso. The last headgear. Is he going to put on the Longhorn or the Buckeye? He'll put on the Buckeye helmet. He will put on the Buckeye helmet. His last, I fucking promise you, he's putting on the Buckeye helmet. And he'll give the Queen's wave. I've been one saying that Lee Corso should have exited a while ago. Like Lee Corso, there was a point during Lee Corso's final couple seasons here where I thought, even though he seems to be happy, they're sort of taking advantage of him a little bit. Like this just isn't working anymore, and they're trying to get the last bit of juice out of the squeezing of Lee Corso. I don't know. There was something that sat wrong with me on how it got handled. But apparently Corso loved it, and he didn't have a problem. So if he doesn't have a problem with it, why should I? Lee Corso is a genuine kiss to the love of college football, where it feels like Dave Portnoy is, a genuine troll trying to incite outrage when it comes to, college football. And both certainly have their place in a modern media ecosystem. But one comes from good and the other maybe evil. So I don't know what to say about that other than Lee Corso, fare thee well. Thank you for all the memories. And Dave Portnoy being on Fox is a big enough story to not have to make up make-believe things around it, I would think. But what do I know? I do know that the single most genuine guy maybe covering sports on the planet right now is Marty Lurie. Marty Lurie, who is, for those of you who are not in the Bay Area who are watching this live stream, Marty Lurie is a local weekend Giants post-game radio broadcaster. He started with the A's years ago, and he is essentially your Jewish uncle doing a baseball radio show which romances baseball's past, kisses its present, tries to be positive. Marty is a warm blanket of baseball nostalgia that people have been wrapping around their own eardrums for years here in the Bay Area. Well, Marty has had a documentary made about him. And he didn't say, hey, can somebody make a documentary about me? Marty was approached by a group of guys who wanted to make a documentary about him. And last night was its world premiere. And did the luminaries come out? I was Brian Murphy. I saw Rennell last night. Great to catch up with both of them. Great to catch up with Ken Korak, who was there. Glenn Kuiper, his beautiful wife, Amanda, was there. Scott Reese was there. Bonte and Anna were there. Great to see them. Ron Wotus was there last night. I mean, the luminaries came out for that. And I got to tell you, it was a love letter to baseball. It was a love letter to Mari. It was fantastic. It was fantastic. I appear in it. I got a couple of quips, some stories about Marty that made the doc. I didn't totally end up on the editing room floor. Kruger is in it. Basically, everybody in Bay Area broadcasting throughout Marty's career is in this. It was fun. It was sweet. And let me tell you, in a world where we keep on saying you should hand somebody a bouquet of flowers while they're still around to smell them, maybe let the person attend a statue unveiling instead of doing it after they're gone. Every single person who is a good person in the world should be able to watch a 90-minute documentary about the people that love you in your life. Like, everybody should get a baseball mensch Marty Lurie story documentary because it just made Marty so happy. What a night it was for Marty. There was so much love in the Vogue over on Sacramento, that movie theater is where the premiere was. And it was just a room full of people who loved Marty, a room full of people that Marty loves. And it was wonderful last night. Jillian, who was with me and doesn't know half the people in the room, she was like, this is wonderful. This is beautiful. Look at how happy Marty is. It was really, really wonderful. I don't know how you're going to be able to see this. I don't know if they're going to release it on like Netflix or Hulu or what they're going to do. I think they're working to get it done. They were talking about like a major theatrical release. I don't think a lot of weekend regional broadcasters get nationwide theatrical releases. But if it could ever happen to anyone, I would hope it happened to Marty. Hopefully it's on like MLB Network. It's narrated by Bob Costas. The damn thing looks professional as hell. It's fantastically done. Randy Field is the guy who directed it. He came to my house. He shot my interview. Nice guy. Seriously, they did a wonderful job. A wonderful job with this, and I hope you can see it if you're interested in it. It really is worth your time. Joe Sullivan says, how great to see him get his flowers. It really was, Joe. It really, really was special. Erwin, Marty Lurie on Saturday mornings with my coffee. Absolutely. That's what half the documentary was, people saying, I would go to bed on a Saturday night, having driven home from a game, listening to Marty. By the time I got up on Sunday morning, Marty's back on the damn air. It was awesome. John Wallace says, being from the Bay Area, being a Bay Area born and raised in 65. Look, I go back from time to time, and I remember Marty Lurie, man. Marty, dude, and it's, I know an awful lot about him as a broadcaster, but his career as a lawyer, as a trial lawyer, it was fantastic. Oh, I told you, thanks for helping us keep up to date. 49ers waived Derek Canteen. Yeah, didn't have him on my 53-man roster either, so not surprised to see that. Another very good preseason player, very good in training camp. I bet you that the 49ers would like to see Derek Canteen clear waivers and add him to the practice squad. Yeah, and it would be great if a few theaters locally would just pick this movie up and show it about Marty. Lurie's a marathon radio personality. There's no other molds of a person like this. Well, it's not only that Marty had nothing else going on that weekend, so he was happy to do 8 hours of pre and post game. Like there was, Marty was in that world where he wasn't looking to run to the bar and go hang out with his friends when his shift was over. Like Marty just loved baseball. He loved being around it and still does, to where he'll put in, the show was supposed to end at 4 p.m, but Marty's not going anywhere. There's still callers on hold. So let's keep going. Let's go to 6 o'clock. That's the way he would just conduct business. He loved being there so much. I'll tell you what is interesting, and they covered this in the documentary, is that Marty exists in a world that really no other media member gets to exist in. Marty kind of worked around the A's, but he never really worked for the A's. He kind of worked for KMBR, but he never really worked for KMBR. He kind of works around the Giants, but he never really works for the Giants. He's a member of the media, but he's not really a member of the media in terms of, I'm here to get scoops and dig dirt. He is just this guy who is allowed to exist in this ether of just welcome in the clubhouse. His number one asset as a broadcaster, and I've always said this about Marty, is his ability to disarm anyone he's talking to, and an interview turns into a conversation in that very moment. And that's the beauty of Marty. That's what he is so good at. And they capture that. That's the part of what I said when my part was recording that did hit the editing room floor that I thought this is sure going to be in the movie, because Marty really exists on a plane that no other Bay Area media member has really ever existed on. He's here. He's welcome here. Who does he work for? What does he really do? For a guy with no radio background before he started on radio, how did he get to start around Major League Baseball? It just all fell into place because people liked Marty. Be good at what you do. Treat people well. and good things will happen. I mean, if that's not the lesson of that doc, I don't know what is. So you can't talk about Marty being such a genuinely great guy without talking about what's coming up this week for the Giants and then how genuinely bad Major League Baseball is at marketing itself. That's why they need Marty Lurie. But, baseball doesn't know how to make it self-romantic. They need somebody from Marty to make it romantic because they're just so bad at it. They're bad at commanding attention and knowing how to get people into the room. First of all, we got Giants and Cubs. It's the first game of a 6-game homestand. Chicago and Baltimore coming through San Francisco. I wouldn't call it win day because Justin Verlander's pitching. Verlander is 1-10 on this year. But here's the thing. He's 1-10 with a 1.44 whip. Like, how bad is the team around him if you have a 1.44 whip, but you're 1-10? Again, Verlander's not great anymore, but he's still good. He's still decent. But this entire lineup goes limp around him. I don't know why. Oh, I do know why. Never mind. It's because this lineup pretty much stinks, but for one or two guys. So there you go. There's the Giants' schedule this week. 6-game homestand, Cubs starting the night, Orioles coming into town afterwards. Now, when it comes to schedules, though, today just proves, like I could walk into court and prove with just this fact alone how bad Major League Baseball is at promoting itself. This Major League Baseball season that is happening right now is still happening right now. Calling attention to next season's schedule seems something like an off-season promotional opportunity or an after the World Series promotional opportunity to drum up interest into next year. But no. Major League Baseball decided in its infinite wisdom that on Tuesday, August 26th, they would be releasing next year's schedule. Why would randomly picking an arbitrary date in your season when you had all the dates to pick from, why in God's name would Major League Baseball choose August 26th? What are you up against? You're up against NFL roster cutdown day. You know what you're not up against tomorrow? NFL roster cutdown day. Guess what you weren't up against last Friday? NFL roster cutdown day. Guess what you're not up against this time Tuesday next week? NFL roster cutdown day. It's like Major League Baseball doesn't understand where it is in the pecking order of the national sports attention universe anymore. Like, what are you doing? You had 364 other days to choose from. You're going to go with up against NFL roster cutdown day? One of the biggest days of off-season interest news for all football fans in the world. What are you doing? You fucking morons. Like Rob Manfred. Who decides these things? Whoever that person was that decided today was the day to do it, that person should be fired. And Rob Manfred, if you could fire yourself, you should probably do that. You are terrible at drumming up interest, goodwill, attention, fascination by your own sport. You're terrible at it. Terrible. Having said that, would you like to know the one interesting thing about the Giants' schedule next year? They're going to open at home for just the third time in 19 years. For just the second time since 2009, the Giants will open at home. It's the New York Yankees. And along with the New York Yankees coming for the Giants home opener, not only is that the Giants home opener, it is the Major League Baseball season opener, and it's going to be happening on my birthday. March 25th is your season debut of baseball next year. The first baseball game of next season will be played on March 25th at 24 Willie Mays Plaza. The Yankees coming on in to take on the Giants. Now, if you're the Giants, A, exciting, but B, oh man, that really screws up your attendance because it's the home opener. It's the opening series. It's a sellout no matter what. To blow your Yankee wad on what would have been a sellout no matter what, that's not good for the Giants' overall ticket sales. There's already some people complaining about that, I'm sure, internally. But that's the way it is. Just the second opening day at home for the Giants since 2009. Yankees, Aaron Judge, the whole damn that coming into town. Okay, sure. The other little note is to tell you that the Giants are going to be at Fenway on August 21st, almost a year from today. And that's going to be Rafael Devers going back to Boston, where they're going to boo the ever-living shit out of him. Giants absolutely have to start him at first base, that series. I don't care if Bryce Eldridge is up or not. just to troll the Red Sox, you got to do that. But baseball, like, get a clue. Like, how is nobody in Major League Baseball office aware that of all the days to do it, this is one of the worst? And then, just to show you that God and the universe will laugh at you when you're really bad at what you do, the heavens officially open up to dunk on Rob Manfred and his schedule release with the news that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are engaged. So not only do you deal with every other NFL transaction, you deal with the biggest pop culture NFL transaction in the history of recorded time. So you're up against that today too, baseball, you douchebags. There's no room for you in the headlines when Travis Kelce is bending the knee to Taylor Swift. There's no room in the headlines where guys are getting cut all over the NFL. Good God, baseball. Be worse at this. Somehow, I dare you. How could you possibly be worse at this? I do have some, could you possibly be worse at this news, though? Hold on. I should have had this earlier. Hold on. I should have arranged this earlier. Let me get this up so I can share the screen to just talk about that's bad. Like, are there any creative people left in the world? Is there anyone who is like, you know what? If we worked on it for more than 5 minutes, we could probably come up with something better than this. And don't you think she might deserve it? Because she's nothing short of the single most marketable, sellable, notable, covered, professional female team athlete America has ever known. Nike has decided to give Caitlyn Clark her own line, her own logo. The Clark Force Ones are coming out or whatever. Would you like to see the logo that they spent at least 4 minutes working on? Here it is. That's the Caitlyn Clark logo. Are you kidding me? My son, not my 6-year-old son, my 4-year-old son could have come up with that. That's the Caitlyn Clark logo. That's what you are going to do to represent the single most significant female athlete in the history of team sports in the United States. You're going to give 2 interlocking C's. That could have been CC Sabathia's logo. That could be a CC Ryder logo. That could be any CC. That could be Culinary Kitchen's logo. That could be, I guess Kitchen is a K. That could be Kitty Cat. Well, both Ks. But what are 2 things that start with C's? How about this? Give me 10 CCs of whatever this drug is. That could be the logo for that drug. That could be, thank you very much. Otis Bird can see I'm Cocoa Crisp could have had that logo. Cocoa Crisps logo would have been more original than that. That looks like computer company logo. Thank you very much, William Roberts. That looks like a technology company logo. That looks like the Wu-Tang logo a little bit. That looks like Coco Chanel logo. That could be Cocoa Puffs. If you're wondering why Nike didn't sign Steph Curry, good God. It's a kindergarten ass logo. Thank you very much. And, you know, is it supposed to be a Chanel ripoff? Is that it? Is Caitlyn Clark a big Chanel fan? I'm going to tell you, she's from Iowa. I doubt it. Oh, we got another new. The Panthers have waived Renfro. Hunter Renfro? 49ers should pick him up? Nah, probably not. But Hunter Renfro had a minute there. Sporticus, Crayola crayons would have invested more time in it. You tell me this is a logo that's going to be splashed everywhere? Did Contra Costa County get a new logo? Did communist China try to rebrand? Joji, great to see you. Seriously. It's an Iowa canned corn logo. Maybe it appeals to her love of canned corn. Again, you're in Iowa. You don't need canned corn. Does closed captioning need a logo? It's just ridiculous. It's just the single most significant female team athlete America has ever known got a janitor at Nike to make her logo. Nike used to be good at uniforms. Nike used to be good at sports. Nike used to be good at logos. Not so much right now. By the way, Doc Holliday has become a member of the initiated. Thank you very, very much, Doc Holliday. Great to have you here, brother. Appreciate you for appreciating me and what we're doing over here. Yeah, is that the Connor Colby logo? Connor Colby, did he make the 49ers? If he does, there's his logo. Seriously, Connor Colby could just write a little ONNER in that first negative space that looks like a waxing or waning half moon, and then the other negative space that is the waxing or waning half moon. You get Connor Colby, the negative space in between the interlocking CCs. You put some football laces in there, and I have designed a more interesting logo for Connor Colby, and nobody in America knows who Connor Colby is except for people who watch me and Larry Krueger on Wake Up. And by the way, Connor Colby, also from Iowa, just like Caitlyn Clark. A lot of similarities there. The Connor Colby logo is now better than the Caitlyn Clark logo. I have spent more time designing the brand for Connor Colby. Look at that. Don't you see the football in the middle of that? You put some laces in the middle of that. That's the Connor Colby logo. There you go. Right there. Comedy Central need a new logo? There it is. Chris Cross will make you jump, jump. Daddy Mac will make you jump, jump. It's just crazy. Hey, guys, the single most important living, breathing human in sports, individually by herself, the only person in sports who can honestly say, I individually might command more attention than the league I play in, gets the single most generic logo in the history of generic logos. Hold on, wait a minute. Nike. I want to thank Nike. Maybe I shouldn't have talked so much shit. I should thank Nike for creating the official Damon Bruce logo. They just sent it over to me. Look at what they've done for me. Look at that. Incredible stuff, Nike. That's incredible. Who would have ever thought that that could be my logo? That's my new permanent logo. Look at that. A D and a B. If only they could have interlocked them. Holy shit, that would have been incredible. What are we doing? Somebody in Eugene, Oregon got paid millions of dollars to come up with, well, at least hundreds of thousands of dollars to come up with that. I really do like my new logo, though. Wow, look at that. Who would have ever thought that that could happen to me? Just ridiculous. Charlie Chaplin get a new logo? Yeah, seriously, Charlie Chaplin's back. Here's the thing. Irwin says that Caitlyn Clark logos equals the same effort they put into the City Connect uniform designs. The City Connect uniform designs, as much as I don't like them, that's a full-on acid trip that you have to take to even understand them. There's a lot more creativity than when, like somebody said, hey, you know what the Giants need? Purple. Like that right there. The decision to put purple into the City Connect uniforms this year is a bolder decision than any decision that led Nike to the interlocking CC logos. West Side right now says the chat is on fire. Awesome. Fired up. You're all incredible. Incredible. Thank you so much. Hit like and subscribe. What do we got? Again, people are so fascinated by NFL Cutdown Day that they're refreshing that. We got 130 people in the room. Only 83 likes. Not even at 100 likes yet. I mean, no wonder why the algorithm is not making sweet, sweet love to me right now. Do your part if you would, please. Thank you very, very much. But working that chat, interacting with the show, liking the show, hitting subscribe, hitting notify. Great way to support. Again, we've got a brand new member. We got Doc Holliday becoming a member. Memberships available. Merch is available. Oh, my goodness. But it costs you absolutely nothing to just hit like and subscribe. It might cost you a few shekels to go to Ike's. Totally worth it. Help the show by supporting our sponsors. And, of course, our good friends at the Dubliner West portal as well. What we have now for you, my good friends, we wrap up each and every show with Today in History. Wait a minute. We got Damon wants to pound that algorithm. Indeed, pound that algorithm, folks. Wait a minute. Here we go. Wait. We can pound the algorithm.
Pound it, pound it, pound it, pound it.
San Bruno, Mike, there's no way that logo took more than 5 minutes. Exactly. You telling me some guy went home and worked for 3 weeks on the Caitlyn Clark project and showed up with that? Seriously. Sportic Damon, that new DB logo should really spice up the algorithm. Here we go. Well, let's get that back up then. Boom. Look at that logo. We spent $600,000 and a design team at Nike came up with that. Look at that. Well, Regular Ryan, as you always know, we start with birthdays. Happy birthday to the Regular Ryan. Born today in 1986. Happy birthday, Regular Ryan. You share a birthday with Regular Ryan. A very, very funny woman, Melissa McCarthy, 55 years old today. She had a turn on Saturday Night Live as his host last year, which was hysterical. Macaulay Culkin, 45 years old. Macaulay Culkin is 45 years old. He's not even the most famous Culkin anymore. It's the other Culkin. Kieran Culkin is now, I think, officially outranks Macaulay in the Culkin rankings. Chris Pine, who was in the Wonder Woman movies, he's 45 years old today. John Mulaney, comedian, 43 years old today. And somewhere standing at a free throw line, even though all he did to get there was throw his chinny chin up in the air, James Harden and his beard turned 36 years old today. How many strippers have sat on James Harden's lap? Makes you think, right? It's like whatever the number is in your mind, you can probably double it, and you're still not even close. It's like when you get that question, how many windows do you think there are in downtown San Francisco? And you try to answer that question and someone's like, did you consider the cars? Oh, that's the gotcha. All those cars got window. Did you even count them? How many strippers have sat on James Harden's lap? We've got to be in the tens of thousands. Got to be. You got to be. Damon, I thought you were going to say how many have sat on James Harden's beard. No. This is a family show. You are right about this, Endigo. Melissa McCarthy as Sean Spicer was an incredible turn. So happy birthday to all involved, but especially since he's one of us here in our chat on the Plus, the regular Ryan. Happiest of birthdays, buddy. Let's see. Today, in 1791, that's an awful long way back, the patent was granted to John Fitch for the steamboat. Happy birthday, steamboat. The steamboats are cool. I like the steamboat that goes across San Francisco Bay. That's a cool steamboat. The paddle wheel, it's cool. I think steamboats are cool. I'm pro gambling on a steamboat. I really am. I want to gamble on a steamboat on the Mississippi River in my lifetime. Like the movie Maverick. Can we still talk about the movie Maverick? Sure. I mean, we all liked Mel Gibson for a minute there, right? He was charming in that. I mean, you had James Coburn in that. You had, no, not James Coburn. The guy who was in the Roxbury Files. What was his name? Chat, you need to help me out over here. Yeah, Ricky the Steamboat Dragon. No, not patented today. William Robarts. Phenomenal knowledge. Thank you. Yeah, James Garner. That's what I was going for there. Appreciate you. James Garner is in that movie. We got Jodie Foster in that movie. I like the movie Maverick. I like a card game movie. I liked Rounders. Anyways, happy birthday, Steamboat. Today in 1883, the reason why you still know Krakatoa's name is because she erupted. Today in 1883, it was a volcano eruption and a tsunami that came from Krakatoa. It was one of the deadliest, most destructive volcanic events in recorded history. Over 36,000 dead because of the small eruptions, the mud, the landslides, and then the tsunami that rippled out from it. Krakatoa was a mother. Like, look at it this way. If Krakatoa deserved its own logo, someone would have to work harder on it than that Caitlyn Clark logo. So today, Krakatoa, 1883. Today, in 1968, by the way, that's a long time after the color barrier had been crossed by Jackie Robinson. But today in 1968, Dan Bankhead became the first African-American to pitch in a Major League Baseball game. Jackie, color line, took to 1968 to have a African-American pitcher in Major League Baseball. Dan Bankhead, you could probably win a bar bet or two right there. Today in 1976, while camping in Allagash, Maine, 4 guys named Jim Weiner, Jack Weiner, or is it Weiner or Weiner? We'll have to figure that out. I don't even care. Charles Foltz and Charles Rack claim that all 4 of them were abducted by 4-fingered beings, were brought into a spaceship, had experiments performed on them, including probing. Happy birthday to an alien probed my butt being part of the abducted by aliens experience. That happened today. 4 dudes hunting in Maine. Every single one of them say they took a alien something up the pooper. And since then, since that moment, the anal probing, I mean, think about it. You transverse the entire universe as an alien being. You discover a planet, Earth, that has life on it. You say to yourself, let's understand more about these creatures occupying this planet. And instead of learning their language, their customs, their cultures, their music, their art, you're like, let's start with the butt. This feels very man-made to me. This doesn't feel like an alien action. This feels like somebody going, like, are you telling me like butt stuff's that universal? We've arrived at a new planet. What should we do first? Butt stuff. It feels very man-made to me. It just very man-made. Speaking of man-made, the man who represents God on earth, as we know him, at least through the precision of Catholicism, through the lens of Catholicism. Today in 1978, Pope John Paul I was elected, but his reign would not last long. He would die just 33 days later, and then the next guy up said to honor Pope John Paul I, I'm going to be known as Pope John Paul II, and Pope John Paul II was, the most popular modern pope ever. Pope John Paul II was the Pope of the Catholic Church that was the Pope that was in charge when I was growing up. The 3rd longest serving Pope in poping history, and I believe the first non-Italian for Pope John Paul II. But you didn't get to Pope John Paul II without Pope John Paul I being elected, and that happened today in 1978. They were popping white smoke. There you go. Now, it would be so easy to tie a direct line between the alien anal probe jokes that we just made and the announcement of popes in Catholicism, but I'm not going to do it because I'm going to be friendly today. But feel free to tell all your other anal probing jokes you like amongst yourselves. But without a doubt, the single biggest event in recorded human history to ever happen on August 26th happened today. On August 26th, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift got engaged. It's official. America's sweethearts. You know what I'm going to wish them? Mazel tov. And a lifetime of happiness together. I'm also going to fade the Chiefs because that guy, he's got to be already thinking, I'm a retired billionaire. I'm good now. I'm good. Fade the Chiefs. Congratulations to the Kelces. What if Taylor actually takes his last name? What if she becomes Taylor Kelce? And she says to Nike, do you think you can design me a logo? And they're like, yeah, they're going to, wait a minute. Breaking news. We have seen, we're the first to report the Taylor Swift Nike Taylor Kelce logo. Here it is. How'd Nike come up with that? Taylor Kelce. Somewhere Tim Kawakami is pissed. But look at that. What an incredible logo design. Amazing. Almost as good as. And this is the stupid world we all now live in. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. Somebody got paid hundreds of dollars to come up with thousands of dollars to come up with this nonsense. Meanwhile, we're over here working for tips and clicks. What the hell's wrong with this world? Seriously. Again, thank you to San Bruno Mike, to Joe, to Vince Vargas for throwing a little into the ganja jar today. I thank all of you for being a part of today's show. We'll be back on Wednesday with even more, 11 a.m. West Coast time, right here on YouTube. 1 o'clock East Coast, wherever coast you're watching us from. Thank you for spending part of your day with me. It means an awful lot. Like and subscribe on your way out the door. And in the meantime, please do remember that sports don't build character. They reveal it. And like that, he's designing better logos than Nike does. And he's gone. Thank you very much.